From the Blue Ridge Mountains, through the Midlands, and down to the coast, there's plenty of sports highlights and moments here in South Carolina. And there's only one place where you'll catch all the action. This is Palmetto State Sports.
Welcome into Palmetto State Sports. I'm Braden Maloy.
And I'm Nick Klos. Two NCAA women's basketball powerhouses will collide tonight at 7 p.m. as the South Carolina Gamecocks take on Connecticut. The top-ranked Gamecocks will look to beat the number 2 ranked Huskies for now the second time in program history and its first victory on UConn's court. USC is coming into the game on a 12-game win streak led by Zia Cook averaging 15.8 points per game, and Aaliyah Boston averaging a double-double so far with 14.2 points and 11.4 rebounds per game. The Gamecocks have had a strong defensive start so far this season and are second in the nation in blocks per game and third in rebounds. But they have not seen anything like UConn freshman phenom Paige Bueckers. Bueckers is averaging 27.8 points in her last 4 games and has shot 76% from 3. She has had over 30 in her last 2 outings to become the first UConn freshman to have back-to-back 30-point nights. The UConn-USC series will have the nation's top team for the 8th time tonight, and the Gamecocks hold that title for just the 3rd time. You can watch the game at 7 p.m. on FS1 or listen to it on 107.5 The Game.
In men's basketball, the men's basketball team has been inconsistent to say the least this year. Coming off their best win of the season in Gainesville against the 22nd ranked Florida Gators, the Gamecocks hope to use that momentum against Mississippi State, looking to get a second straight win on Saturday. That would not be the case. After obtaining a 47-45 lead early in the second half, they would only score 4 points over the next 8.5 minutes, while Mississippi State scored 23 to take a 68-51 lead. Physicality was the name of the game, but the Gamecocks looked like they were playing a completely different game. 23 combined fouls in the first half made it hard for either team to get a rhythm. And after scoring 50 points in the paint against the Gators, Carolina could only muster 24 points against the Bulldogs. That combined with shooting just 31% from the field and 20% on threes, the Gamecocks fell to the Bulldogs 75-59. While there was a bright spot for the Gamecocks, junior guard A.J. Lawson scoring his 1,000th point for the university, his milestone was overshadowed by Mississippi State sophomore guard D.J. Stewart, who went for 29 points while shooting 50% from the field. Tomorrow, the Gamecocks will look to find their rhythm and get back in the win column when they go head-to-head with one of their toughest matchups this season against number 11th ranked Alabama at 6:30 at Colonial Life Arena.
Now to head to the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes defeated the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-5 Sunday afternoon in a high-scoring back-and-forth game. The game was neck and neck nearly the entire time as the two teams traded off goals all the way through the first 2 periods. Carolina defenseman Brett Pesce netted his first goal of the season late in the second to tie the game up at 3 apiece. And that's when the controversy hit. Carolina's Vincent Trocheck scored to give the Canes their first lead of the game, but the Blue Jackets decided to challenge the goal because they believed Carolina was offsides on the scoring play. Well, due to technical issues between the review booth and the referees, the goal was called good and play was resumed before all angles were reviewed. It turns out the goal would have not counted. After that, the Canes took a hold of the rest of the game to win it 6-5 in regulation. Hurricanes captain Jordan Stahl was the first star of the night with 1 goal and 2 assists. Carolina will now take on the Blue Jackets once again tonight at 7 p.m. in Columbus.
Back in the basketball world, national title contenders NC State women's basketball team suffered their second loss of the season yesterday in Chapel Hill to the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Wolfpack's shortcomings were not a result of their defense. The team totaled 6 steals and 44 rebounds, both game highs. They held UNC to just 40% shooting from the floor, but let the Tar Heels shoot 42% from 3-point range. Where NC State lacked was their offense. The Wolfpack shot just 39% from the floor and only went 4 of 19 on 3-pointers. 16 turnovers partnered with only 16 points from the bench held the 14th ranked overall offense to their lowest point total since they scored 54 in a win against the now number 1 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks back in December. The Wolfpack, coming off their second loss in 10 days after going the first 2 months of the season without one, will look to get back to their championship level play at home this Thursday at 4 p.m. against Clemson.
Now, speaking of Clemson, Clemson basketball continues to bounce back from struggles as they defeat Syracuse 78-61 for their second straight ACC win. The Tigers were coming off of a 3-game ACC losing streak in January, but after impressive wins over North Carolina and now Syracuse, they are definitely putting their struggles behind them. Clemson dominated most of the game and was efficient in Syracuse's zone, shooting 53% from the field and 44% from three-point range. The Tigers' defense was back in early season form, holding the Orange to 30% from the field and only 2 field goals in the first half as they led 39-19. Clemson was led by Amir Sims, who had 18 points in the win and hit the 1,000-point mark as well. Clyde Trapp only had 2 points for the Tigers but contributed 8 rebounds and 11 assists. Clemson will be back in action on Friday as they take on Georgia Tech at home.
Super Bowl 55 was played down in Tampa last night, and to many, it was a very surprising outcome. This highly anticipated showdown turned into more of a snooze fest, courtesy of Tampa Bay's defense. Tasked with stopping a historic Chiefs offense, the Buccaneers held Mahomes to under 300 yards passing and no touchdowns for just the 3rd time in his 46 career games. Forcing 2 turnovers, recording 3 sacks, and holding the #1 overall offense to a 23% conversion rate on 3rd down and just 3 field goals, the Chiefs had no answers or any evidence of rhythm or flow the entire night. On the other side of the field, Tom Brady once again showed why he is one of the greatest to ever play the game, recording his highest passing grade in a Super Bowl and the 2nd highest completion percentage in any Super Bowl. Brady threw for 200+ yards and 3 first-half touchdowns as Tampa Bay took a 21-6 lead going into half, and it was over from there. 10 more points in the 3rd quarter gave the Buccaneers a 31-9 win, leading to the franchise's 2nd Super Bowl title in team history and Super Bowl rings for 2 former Gamecocks, Kobe Smith and Ryan Suckup. Being the first team to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium isn't the only history the Bucs made last night. They were also the first team to play a Super Bowl and win with 4 African-American coordinators and 2 female assistant coaches. How fitting that during a month where we celebrate Black history and diversity, the NFL's most diverse staff were able to display their knowledge, talent, and skill at the world's highest level on the world's biggest stage.
That's all the sports news from this past week across South Carolina. For Braden Maloy, I'm Nick Klos, and until next Monday, this has been Palmetto State Sports.